Hi Flosstube, it's Lynn, the Canadian Stitcher. Hello and welcome back to all of my returning watchers, and welcome to my new subscribers. It's fun. It's coming up there in numbers. So my 3 framed pictures are ready at the frame shop. I just haven't been leaving the house in the last couple of days because it's been so cold out, but probably on my way home to from work tomorrow I'll pick up. It's got the early spring, that full coverage, the little birds that I had done, and the country pantry, and that Thomas Kincaid Stillwater Bridge. So I'll be picking those up, and then at the same time I'll pick up a gift, like a cross stitch kit or a pattern or something to give away for 500 subscriber giveaway. So that'll be fun. Lucy's here. He was not present in the last video. We're going to talk about him at the end though. But he's here. He's in a little bin. I'm going to try to help contain him so he doesn't get in the way too much. Let's do the world map, and I'll say, I can't remember how many flags were in this little container, but I've used them all up. So now I've had to go to these little pins here. So here's my world map. Lots in the States, lots in Germany and that area above north there, lots in England, some in Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand, Malaysia. I really want one in the Antarctic. I want somebody who is stationed in the Antarctic to be a subscriber. I think that would be so fun. So let's go, I'll just go through the list. So I've got Autumn's Granny in Lincoln in the UK, Sandra K in Orillia, Ontario, Lorraine P in Wolverhampton, England, Karen Wanea in Georgia, USA, Martin and Allison B in Chilliwack, BC, and I've got a Joyce R in Chilliwack, BC also. Patty S in Kamloops, BC, that's Canada. Alicia C in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I hope I said that right. Cindy Gaudette in Nova Scotia. I've got, oh sorry, I didn't write down the name here. I've got Wolverhampton, England, and I'll look up whose name that was. I wrote another message here, something about the floor stand, so I gotta look that up. And then Cowgirl Kate, Pates of Plenty. She's from Iowa, and I'll be talking about her later because I have a teeny tiny little haul that I bought from her. And I've got a Kay Brogan in San Antonio, Texas, and Fritha 71 in Finland. So this week I was working on a Stitch in Time. I'm doing that Race to the Middle Stitch in Time Heaven and Earth Designs challenge with Terry Lee from Terry Lee Crafts. So she's working from the top left corner and down, and I'm working from the bottom left corner and up. We're having a race to see who can get to the middle stitch first. So last week I showed it and I didn't have very much done, but I did get quite a bit done this week. I'm actually working on 2 pages simultaneously, and that's the first time I've done that. I've always been feathering over a few stitches into the second page and then finishing up the full page with the freckles over, and then working on the next page, freckle over, like that. But because this is all snow down here on the bottom, I'll show you the chart in a second, but it's all snow, so it just made kind of sense to me to just continue along with the same color along there, and then kind of working up. As I started stitching this part here, I thought, oh, that's taking shape, that's going to be something, and I looked at the pattern and it's not. It's part of the tree. So I'll show you the pattern. So where I'm working, oopsie, sorry, wrong way. I'm working down here in this little corner here, and this is where I thought, oh, that's going to be something. It's the branches of the tree are going one way and then the other, and I can't wait until I get here because that's a little teeny tiny fox. And I like foxes, so I think I'm gonna hurry to get that little piece done there. So I am doing this one on a 20 count ivory Aida 36 by 42 from 123 Stitch, which I think it's more fabric than I need, but I'd rather have too much than too little. So I worked on her for more than a week, and I'm good with putting her away now until March, and I'll pull her out again in March and I'll do some more work on her then. Tedious. 20 count. I love my light with the magnifier. Perfect. I can use the magnifier during the daytime if there's actually good light, and in the evening I can put on my light and it shows up very, very well. I find by the evening, by about 7 o'clock, I'll explain a little bit more what I was doing this week and getting kind of pooped by the evening time. By about 7 o'clock, it's just like I feel like I'm done. I watch YouTube when I'm downstairs in the living room, and then I go upstairs and when I'm getting ready for bed, and I kind of just wind down a little bit, and then I watch Netflix. So kind of gets my mind off the cross stitch for a little while, and gives me some entertainment. So I'm watching Kimmy Schmidt. Sorry, I can't remember. The Incredible. I can't remember what the name of the show is. Kimmy Schmidt. Anyway, it's funny. I'm only on season 2. So with the Stitch in Time, I ended up feathering over into the 3rd page over and working on the 2 pages at the same time. So that's how much I got done in a week and a half. I don't even think that's 1 full page if we took all the stitches from here, if that would be a full page, but I'm happy. Whoops, I'm happy with my progress. That's a good start on that one. And then I'll work on her each month as I'm working on the challenge with Terry Lee. So I did add a little bit more to my scissor fob. I like the jangly noise of metal. So I've got a little cutout stars here with a little star. I've got my skeleton key. I've got a little dragonfly. It was an earring actually, and I couldn't find the other one, so I stuck it on here, and then I found the other one, so it went onto my other scissors, I think. And then I put that little needle threader that I got from 123 Stitch, that Stitcherista had talked about, this kind of needle threader, instead of the little wire one. So I just put this like on a little clasp and have that hanging on my scissors so I don't misplace it then. And I did make another needle minder out of a pendant that I had that the part that the chain goes through broke off. So I just put some magnets on it and made it into a little needle minder. And I added a skeleton key. An actual skeleton key, like a vintage one. So that's the board for the week. I did do my Christmas tree ornament. I got a little gingerbread star done. Christmas ornament of the week. And the plans for this week coming up. So I think I'll continue working on a Stitch in Time today. Yeah, I will. And then tomorrow when I get home, I'm going back to the one I only had a very small start on in 2018. So I only have this little bit done in here, but this is the Country Picture Cranberries. So this is Cross Country Stitching magazine, and this is October 2003. I have all of these, and I like these designs. I have a couple of them hanging in one of my bathrooms. I have 3 of them, I think, in my kitchen. They're simple. They're really easy to do. The patterns are easy to follow, and sometimes my brain just needs a easy project to do. Counting my way through it, and I like the colors too, so yeah. So I'm going to be working on this one until the 14th, and the 14th is Thursday. So on Thursday, I'm going to be starting on the Long Dog Sampler Death by Cross Stitch. So I was getting that one ready this morning. So I've got my enlarged copies, because I make myself a working copy. I made out my stitch map. So it's pages 1 to 4, 2 to 8, oh my goodness, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16. And the size fabric I have is 41 by 36 white Aida fabric from 123 Stitch. I haven't prepped the edges of the fabric yet. I'm going to be using color 824 by DMC, and I've already cut myself some pre-cut lengths of it to get started. I'm going to see how that works, if they end up getting tangled up or whether I'm able to manage them just throwing the pre-cut ones into the bag. I'll let you know how that one works out for me. I got a little tiny haul. So when I started watching Flosstube last year, I came upon, it might have been because of her HAEDs, I'm not sure. Her name is Kate Frederick. She's from Iowa. She's on my map. So she had showed in her video, she did a HAED parade that I thought was outstanding, and that inspired me to do my HAED parade, chart parade. And this is her own design. This is her design of, let me get this as close as I can. So she designed this. It's called the Pocketwatch Pixie. So in her video, she kind of goes through how she designed it as she was working on it, and then doing the embellishments with different kind of steampunk wheels and cogs and watch pieces, that kind of thing. So her YouTube channel is Cowgirl Kate Paints Aplenty, and it's KOWGIRLKATE, one word, Paints Aplenty. And she sells this chart on Etsy as a PDF. So I, this morning, wanted to make sure, because I ordered it, I paid through PayPal, and it was a PDF download. So it's in my computer, and then I was able to print off copy for myself. And I will enlarge this, just because I find that works best for me. Her chart is very readable, but I like the bigger charts. So if you, on Etsy, if you put Eye of the Magpie by Kate, and it's all one word, or in the search type the Pocketwatch, one word, Pocketwatch, Pixie by Kate Frederick, it'll come up. The stitch count is 150 by 260, and she did hers on a 28 count over 2. I'm going to be using Aida fabric for mine. And I don't have fabric selected for her yet. I didn't really look at the chart all that much yet. I have a little drawer that has a bunch of the little steampunk things in it that I got from Michael's. So this one is just kind of in my radar of something that I'm going to be wanting to do, most likely this year. Excuse me. Sorry. But I need to study it a little bit more and kind of figure out how I'll go about doing this one. I'll certainly share it with you once I get working on her and as I make the progress. And I did ask her if I could show the picture on my channel, and she said yes. So of course I won't be showing you the chart, but yeah, beautiful. There's lots of Krennics, there's lots of beads in the wings, and then she's kind of left it open for the creator of the pattern to just embellish it however you want, to the clock face however you want, kind of a thing. So I'm excited about that. It's the first thing I've ever bought off of Etsy. Monday I worked. Wasn't a great day. I ended up staying an hour late, which is fine. I contacted the manager and said I need at least an hour to get everything done, because I knew I was going to be off the rest of the week, and then I'm going back tomorrow. So there was things that I couldn't leave for my coworker to look after. So I did stay an hour late. And then it was very, very cold. And the roads were very, very awful, and it took me almost an hour to drive home. So my big plan of doing all my errands on the way home. I'm going to quit telling you anything I'm planning on doing, because I don't do what I say. I have plans. So on Tuesday then, I got up, I think it was minus 36. When I'm talking in temperatures, it's Celsius, right? So minus 36. And then I looked ahead, kind of scrolled through my phone. Oh, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun was shining. So by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it said it would be minus 26. So I thought, I'm going to wait until 1. 10 degrees. Excuse me, when it's that cold, 10 degrees makes a huge difference. So I waited until it was like minus 27. And then I went out and I had to get my groceries, and I don't know if you ever tried pushing a grocery cart through snow. It's a bit challenging. They always offer to help, but I know, whatever. I got it. So my son actually works at that Save On, and they have 15% off on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. So I wanted to go in and get my 15% off. And then I started with I did do it. I told you, I planned on getting all the jewelry sorted, organized. I didn't finish, but I think I'm about 75% of the way through the process. So each day I worked on it a little bit. I want to work on a stitch in time, so I would do one length of thread, do the stitches, and then I'd have to go and I'd watch one of Pam and Stephanie's videos until the end of it. Then I could go back and I would do a whole other strand of floss, and I'd go back upstairs and watch another one of Pam and Stephanie's videos. Just keep stitching. So I did get through. So the first part of the process was clearing the floor, because I had bins and boxes and things stacked up. So I cleared the floor so I could move around easy. And then I knew that there was stuff that has to go. So where my dining room goes, it overlooks into my living room, and there I have a lot of plastic containers because I used to store beads in containers because I could stack them easier. But it was very much in the way, so I lowered them into the living room. I just had a very free space to move around. And then I started on one shelf in the cupboard. I've got these two really large cabinets that house all my jewelry making supplies, and each one of them has 4 deep, they're very deep, shelves on it. So I just started on one shelf, cleared that off, did the next one, and I just kept going in the process like that. And then I did finish the entire cupboard. I completely cleared off the table, and then I had 2 bags for donation, a lot of containers and stuff that are still, you know, usable. 1 bag of garbage, and 2 bags for recycling, which was a lot of paper, plastic bags, that kind of thing. So I did get really far on that. I do have a box. It's not, well, it's a good sized box full of stuff that I'm probably going to add little bits. When I do a giveaway, I'll keep including little bits of jewelry in there. I don't want to just donate it. Here in St. Albert, we do have Goodwill, a drop-off center. We have Value Village, and we have an organization called Losika, and it doesn't feel right to me to drop off my finished jewelry at one of those places. Not yet, anyway. I would rather give it away to people that I know. I'm gonna probably give a box to my son. He can take it to his work and just leave it in the lunchroom, and people can just kind of pick through and take what they want. I'll probably do the same thing at my work, and then as I do giveaways, or maybe just send like out little surprise bags to people, or you know, something like that. I would sooner that than taking it to Value Village, and that just doesn't feel right to me. That it would just be, you know, given to strangers, and they don't know the story behind the jewelry, and you don't all know the story yet, but eventually I'm going to do the Stitch With Me, how Stitching Jewels does it, and Bendy Stitchy, Michelle Garrett, does their Stitch With Me, and then do some more like story time. I don't know if people would be interested in that or not, but so I continued to work on that, and then on Wednesday I get a text from my son. Are you at work? I'm stranded. What? His bus broke down. He goes to university, and on the way back to St. Albert the bus broke down, so he said, I said, they're going to send another bus, and he goes, yeah. He said, yeah, it would take an hour, and he had to get to work. So I braved the cold, went out and rescued him. Yeah, so I'm back at work tomorrow. After being off for a week, there's a lot of catch-up that has to be done. There's just parts of my job that other people, like my coworker, can't do for me, that when I get there, I usually have, after being off for a week, usually at least 100 to 150 emails. And lots of them are threads sometimes of conversations of different things that are going on. And then just a lot of catch-up. I think I have 3 people that were being admitted. And was it 4? 3? I've lost count. I've had so many admissions since December. yeah, so got some admissions to work on, and yeah. So I also will probably have another week off in either March or April, possibly both months. I have to see how much vacation time I have left, because all of our vacation time has to be used up by the end of April. And we can't carry anything over in our banks. So if I have 2 weeks worth, I'll try and book a week off in March and a week off in April. And then the regular 2019-2020 vacation planner starts. And then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to work it. Because last year I had pretty much, from May to November, I think I had at least a week off each month. Okay, May, June, July, August. Excuse me, not in October. I had to cancel in October, but I had November. Yeah, so I like having that week off. Oh, I get so much done at home when I have that time to work on something. Okay, I think that's all I have for my plans for the week. Shout out to Kate. So, Lucy has been getting a lot of positive comments. I think he needs his own channel, and he needs a nanny. So in case you haven't met Lucy yet, how could you have not have? This is Lucy. I have figured out he's a long-haired Turkish white, and I believe that he was a stray, and I don't know quite how that is possible, unless the people that had him just figured out they didn't like him and they just put him out and left him. I have no idea. But he does have a breeder's tattoo in his ear, and he also has the microchip in his back here. So I'm wondering how he could have been tattooed and microchipped and then still end up being a stray. So he might have been, you know, maybe a child was allergic or someone was allergic to him or something, and they took him to a shelter, or I have no idea. So my neighbor used to be, and if you're going to click off now before you hear the whole story about Lucy, you can leave. That's fine if you don't want to hear about it, but you're going to miss the stories about Underwear Dan. Underwear Dan was my neighbor. You'll find out. Pretty obvious why I call him Underwear Dan. Anyway, so my neighbor was an animal rescuer. She worked at a vet clinic, and she was an animal rescuer, and she had this guy. And all of her rescues, her dogs or cats, everything had collars and with the name tag on, and the phone number in case any of them went missing. And this guy used to be an outdoor cat. So I'd go out. I used to smoke, and I was a big coffee drinker. So in the morning I would go outside to have my cigarette and my coffee, and this guy, he would be sitting on my deck, just sitting there, looking at me. I go, well, you're a pretty cat. And he had his little collar on with his name written on a blue heart, and it was Lucifer. So I go, well, that's a pretty cat, right? And then I'd open up my door, and he'd run into my house and lay down. And he would just look around like, oh, this is nice. You got anything to eat? Like he was just so relaxed and so cool and whatever. I go, get out of my house. You don't live here. Like, what are you doing here? So in the morning, go outside for my cigarette and my coffee. And my neighbor, so this was the boyfriend of the lady who was the animal rescuer, comes outside in his underwear, not a care in the world, standing there smoking a cigarette, talking to me over the fence, in his underwear. And I go, that white cat of yours keeps running into my house. And he goes, yeah, he goes, I know. He goes, I hate that cat so much. I keep putting him out because I hope he runs away. And I go, well, he doesn't run very far. He runs from your back door to my back door. So I don't know. And we had an old cat at that time. It was one of my son's cats. And she was very old and nearing the end of her life, obviously. So another day I go out there, and he's out there again, smoking a cigarette in his underwear. And I said to him again, okay, that cat keeps running in my house. And he goes, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, I just hate him so much. I was like, that's not nice. Like, you can't just put him out and hope he runs away somewhere else. Like, find a good home for him. But Lucy found his home. Anyway, so then my son was expecting a friend to come visit, and the friend got dropped off by the parent, and she couldn't remember what our house number was, if it was number 30 or 31. So she went to number 31, and Underwear Dan answered the door. Teenage girl standing there. He's in his underwear. He doesn't care. Whatever. So then they had gone away on holiday, and I knew that they were going on holiday. And she said that she had a house sitter and a pet sitter. So she had 4 dogs, 3 cats, turtle, fish, birds. I don't know if she had any reptiles because I don't like them. Never want to. So she told him, do not let that white cat outside. So the first thing he did was throw Lucy outside. What? I mean, you can see he's very demanding of attention. If he gets his attention, he's happy, but he can be very, very demanding. So this house sitter threw the white cat outside. I don't think he fed him. And I was leaving the one day, and I went out to my garage, opened up my garage door, and he ran in and into my basement. And I told you I had another cat at that time, and I was like, I have no time for this. I'm late. I have to go. You're just going to have to stay in my house. So I just shut him in the house and left. And when I came back, I was like, okay, kitty. And then I knew he'd been outside without any food. So I fed him, and I gave him some water. And I said, but you don't live here, so you have to go back outside. And then when I got back from holidays, I was telling her, I said, that pet sitter you had was awful. Like, they locked the dogs up in the bedroom on the upper floor, and he put this guy out and didn't feed him at all, and so I mean, she said, yeah, I thought I knew him, but didn't know him that well, I guess. So I said, can we keep that white cat? And she was like, do you want him? Dan would be so happy. She goes, he hates him. He wants to get rid of him so bad. So I said, we'll try it for a week, and if he's very like, if he's not nice to my other cat, then we won't keep him. Like, he's got to be able to get along with the old cat Molly. And so that was kind of our deal. He got to come live with us for a week, but he missed his cat friends next door. And I still let him outside quite a bit. He went outside and kind of out-catting during the night, and then he'd come back in the morning for food and sleep during the day. And the one night I heard just a wicked cat fight going on in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, it was him, and he was injured. And so he made it to the backyard and kind of collapsed on the I'm rocking him like he's a baby. He kind of collapsed onto the deck surface there, and when I went out there, I was like, oh my God, you are hurt. I had no idea what was wrong with him. Like, was his lung punctured? Did he have broken bones? I had no idea. So I picked him up, and he moaned, and I laid him down on the floor in the living room, and I called the vet's clinic and said, I have an emergency. I need to bring my cat in. He's been in a fight, and I don't know where he's injured, but he's obviously injured. So they said, well, you can't bring him till 1, so he didn't eat, he didn't drink anything. I got him there, and then when I put him down on the vet's exam table, I could see that his leg was bleeding. So they had to do x-rays to see if his leg was broken, and he had very deep puncture wounds and very deep tear marks on his leg, which they were able to suture back together. It was quite expensive. And then another day, so then there was some flooding, and Underwear Dan's house was under renovations. And the person that was doing the renovations, Dan wasn't there, but the person who was doing the renovations left the garage door open, and he ran in there and hid in the basement. And then nobody knew that he was in there, so he was shut in there for the night. And I got up the next morning, and my usual, I'm sitting outside having my coffee, and I could hear him tapping on the glass. And I turned around and looked at my glass door, and he wasn't there. And I look over at the neighbors, and he was inside their house. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get this cat out of their house? So I rang the doorbell a couple of times. Nobody was home. Eventually, the people that were doing the rentals came over and opened up the door, and he ran out. But so then it was a couple of days later, and there's Underwear Dan again. Goes, yeah, I heard that Lucy had a sleepover, or he called him Lucifer, had a sleepover at her house. So anyway, after that, I just kept him inside. I just cat fights, and it's awful, and I don't want him out annoying other people, and same thing, going into other people's houses and stuff. So now he's strictly an indoor cat. He does try to run outside whenever he gets a chance, but I don't want him to. So for a rescue cat, he's cost me several thousands of dollars in vet bills, because he did have a very severe injury to his tail. At one point, accidental, got caught in the door and had to have part of his tail amputated, and that was almost $2,000 for the surgery to amputate part of his tail and suture him back together, and he had to stay overnight at the vets and everything. So yeah, so he's been a very expensive cat, and he's kind of found his place in my videos, and a lot of people are talking about him, so I thought I would tell the story of how he came to select us to be our his family. And he loved my oldest son so much. I didn't pay that much attention to him until my oldest son moved out, and now he only wants me. And my oldest son was over last week. He was leaving to go to town for work, and he came over for a visit, and Lucy actually hissed at him, which is unheard of. Like, I just, what is wrong? He just like, you left me. I don't like you anymore. So I'm gonna just put him down. Anyway, so that was really unusual, but he obviously needs a lot of love, a lot of attention. And eventually, Underwear Dan moved away. I don't know where he is now, but we did change the cat's name. So we didn't like the name Lucifer. Obviously, I don't like that. But once he lived with us for a little while and his personality started to show, I said, oh, we could leave him as a Lucifer. But maybe we'll just change the spelling so it's Lucy -F-U-R, and that's the name that he goes by, but we just call him Lucy. That's how my male cat has a girl's name. So I hope you all have a great stitchy week, get lots of progress done, and I will be back next weekend to show you my progress on the 2 projects I'll be working on this week. Leave comments, like, subscribe. Bye.